What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Ask the King for January 26, 2012. This is actually the 20th Ask the King that I've ever done since I was, doing this professionally on YouTube. And, the first one of 2012. And it's been a wild ride. I can remember some of the first episodes I ever did wondering if what I'm doing now on YouTube would ever work out. And here we are, at the beginning of 2012, and everything is looking pretty positive and pretty good. Now, one thing that I want to open with is some of the questions I'm going to answer in this week's Ask the King, this month's Ask the King, are common questions that a lot of people ask me all the time. And it's things that people seem to want answers from me, but I'm not going to make specific videos about every single question I get asked. That's why I make Ask the King. Yet, it never fails. When I do this once a month, usually the views are anywhere between 10 to 20,000 views, and that's it. So if it's such a hot topic and everyone's asking me about these things, why don't they watch the video series where I answer the questions? And I can tell you right now, right off the top, we're going to talk about ACTA, and we're going to talk about Megaupload.com getting taken down. And these are common questions. I have talked about some of them in other videos, but this Ask the King is the place to address these kind of issues. And so, please, if you're watching this, obviously you're going to get your answers on my opinions on these things. But if you see other people foolishly asking the same questions over and over, because obviously they don't watch the right videos, please direct them to this video so that people could know what the hell where to go, and so they don't keep asking the same questions over and over, okay? Alright, so, let's talk. We'll start off with ACTA, okay? And the reason that I think a lot of people are asking me about this and saying, why aren't you talking about this, is because, as you know, I was one of the first people to start talking about these internet censorship bills seriously in 2011. Around July 2011, I started talking about ACT S.978. Then I started talking about PIPA, SOPA, and through, the course of 6 to 8 months that we've all been talking about this, we gathered up enough information and we got enough people informed that it finally hit the mainstream, and those internet censorship bills are now dead in the United States government, which is a great thing. We can all go about with business as usual and not have to worry about, number one, having our internet censored because our government doesn't understand how the internet works, and number two, going to jail for making Let's Plays and video game related videos, okay? We're all relieved at that. But there's another behind the scenes thing that's been going on called ACTA that a lot of people are freaking out about because no one really knew about it until PIPA and SOPA came into the limelight, and then all of a sudden someone said, oh wait, what about this one that already passed in October, and no one really talked about it, okay? I've not talked about it, and the reason is it's not a big deal, and I'm going to explain to you why it's not a big deal. I'm going to explain to you why people are overreacting and why I think people do overreact about these kind of things, okay? First of all, I said this in another video, but I'll say it again because it's Ask the King, it's worth mentioning. I'm not a political activist. I'm not a person who every single cause and every single thing that I see is unjust or not right or could screw something up. I'm not going to be the person to jump on my soapbox and start talking about every single thing. That's not who I am. I'm not running for government. Again, I'm not a political activist. I'm just a guy who's trying to do playthroughs and video game related stuff and have fun on YouTube and make a living while I do it. Now, in the case of bills like PIPA and SOPA that are directly threatening what it is that I do, and they also are directly related to my government here in the United States, and I can affect things with them. So by me speaking out against these bills, I can drum up enough interest where people can go to the government and they can stop these bills, which is exactly what happened. It was a perfect execution of the democratic process. Then I'm going to do it, okay? ACTA is nothing like that, okay? And I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to explain why I think people are a little pissed, but it's because they're misunderstanding how government works, okay? ACTA is an international agreement between several countries, including Japan, the United States. I believe some of the European Union actually rejected it, but there's a whole bunch of countries that have come together and agreed on this. So it's an international agreement. It's not something that the United States Senate or Congress or anyone like that can affect, okay? It's not a law that's in the process of being made that I can speak up and we can all write our senators and say, stop this bill, okay? It's nothing like that. It's a completely different animal. It is an international agreement which the Obama administration approved in October of 2011. It's already passed, it's already in effect, and there's really nothing the American people can do about it at this point. It's already been approved, and you can't undo that. So, it is what it is. Now, here's the funny thing. This has been in effect since October, yet have you heard any rumblings about, oh man, this, the internet's been censored by the U.S. government, or the internet's been censored by ACTA? No, because, in effect, ACTA is ineffectual. ACTA is an international agreement by several governments to try to basically take down, once again, internet pirates, internet websites and other things that are doing piracy through different means. One of them is actually internet censorship. However, international agreements like ACTA are largely completely ineffective, not even able to be enforced, because number one, who's going to enforce it? There's no international body that's responsible for doing this kind of stuff. In the U.S. government, no one was appointed to enforce this stuff. Why do you think, if ACTA was already in effect, why do you think that the Senate and the House of Representatives were still trying to pass PIPA and SOPA? Because they know ACTA is completely ineffective. It's more of a statement of the intention of what these countries want to do. The countries want to stop piracy. They want to make a strong statement that these pirate websites should need to be taken down. That's pretty much what ACTA is. It's a statement of intention. It's not a way that can be enforced and actually shut down anything. And so there's all this uproar now. Oh, Ireland, oh no, they just signed into ACTA even though there were all these protests. The European Union says they don't want to be in it. It doesn't matter. ACTA is nothing. ACTA is fluff. And anyone who has an understanding of law would know that. The problem is, when you had bills like PIPA and SOPA that were serious, you had people who understand law and said, wow, these really are serious. If these get passed, we could fuck stuff up. And so everyone jumped on those and acted and got them shut down. But those same people who jumped on the bandwagon for PIPA and SOPA all of a sudden heard about ACTA, and without any kind of research, without any kind of understanding of law, oh my god, this is just as bad. Oh, the house is burning. The house is on fire. Get the water, put out the fire. It's a completely different animal. It's a completely different situation. There's no reason for people to be flipping out about this. It's ineffectual. It's not going to be enforced. It's just pretty much going to be a statement of their intention. And then you're going to see governments like the U.S. try to pass bills like PIPA and SOPA, and we are going to continually stand up and shut them down. So stop freaking out about ACTA. It's not a big deal, okay? It's completely different from a local government like America actually trying to pass an enforceable law to censor the internet. And again, it's people with knee-jerk reactions who don't have any understanding of law freaking out about something that's been in effect for months and nothing's been done with it. Obviously, because nothing can be done with it. So I don't know why people are flipping out about this, okay? Calm down. That's why I haven't made a video specifically about it, because it's not a big deal. That's why a lot of people, I couldn't believe it. Some guy left a comment, so here's Phil completely ignoring ACTA and just playing video games like business as usual. What an irresponsible asshole. Yeah, that guy got blocked because he's a fucking idiot. And he's completely misinformed and he's insulting. And if you're going to be like that, you will be blocked and I will ignore you. But there are people who back in October, they knew about ACTA. If they knew that it was going to be a big deal, they would have spoken out then. So don't worry about it, alright? People just... You have to pick and choose your battles, especially when it comes to political activism, because there's always going to be a bill you don't agree with, a movement you don't agree with, someone in power who's saying stupid things. You have to pick and choose your battles. The battle against internet censorship with PIPA and SOPA was a well-calculated battle, and we won it. There's no reason to go nitpick every other fucking thing that comes out now and just, blow everything out of proportion. Everyone needs to calm down. We're okay for now, at least in the United States. I don't know about, that's another thing. People, well, Phil, why didn't you talk about this bill, this bill? These are like bills in Europe, bills in the UK. I don't know what those are. I have enough trouble just keeping up with my own government. If those bills are big deals, go talk to people in those countries and have them strum up interest about those bills so that they can effectually stop them. I can't do anything here, okay? I know I have an international following, but I can't follow every bill around the world. Give me a break, okay? Let's be realistic. So please, calm down about ACTA. It's not a big deal. It's already in effect. Nothing's happened. Chill out. Now I want to talk about Megaupload. And I know I've already spent like 10 minutes talking about ACTA. And we'll make this short and sweet. Megaupload's takedown had nothing to do with PIPA or SOPA. Had absolutely nothing to do with internet censorship. Megaupload was a website who was proven to definitely promote piracy. They knew they had copyrighted materials on their website. They had repeated takedown notices from copyright holders. They refused to take down the content and or were just lazy about doing it. Unlike YouTube, where, okay, YouTube, they get a copyright claim, they're a little bit on the flip side. They will take down something more often than not because they're afraid of getting shut down. Megaupload just didn't care and very rarely took stuff down. In addition to that, it was proven that the people who own the website were laundering money through it, meaning they had illegal funds that they were trying to clean up through this website. It was a complete mess. It was completely illegal what they were doing. That website deserved to be shut down. I applaud the FBI for doing it because that website is the kind of website that is how it should get shut down. Through the FBI doing an investigation over a period of time, getting concrete proof, and then attacking the individual website that's infringing the copyright. Not by trying to pass PIPA and SOPA, which would, irresponsibly pass blanket powers to somebody to censor the entire fucking internet. That's the wrong way to go against pirates and to stop piracy. So stop fucking whining about Megaupload. I know the reason the only reason people are whining is because they used to use it for piracy, and now they can't use it for piracy anymore. Grow the fuck up. They were criminals. They're in jail. Bottom line, FBI did their job, and I applaud them. So there. Okay. Now let's get on to some more questions that were specifically submitted by fans. I wanted to get those two big topics off the table that everyone's been asking me about before we officially got into this episode. So here we go. This question is from the Gamerholic, and he says, Phil, would you ever consider branching out your Hateful Truth review series into reviewing your latest films? I believe this would prove popular because I myself and a lot of others enjoyed your reviews of Inception and Iron Man 2 in 2010. They wouldn't have to be 20 minutes long, like with the video game reviews, just simple 10-minute reviews. What do you think? Well, here's the thing. Number one, okay, it's a little bit harder because if I were to say, let's say I were to review a movie that's in theaters right now. I don't even know what the fuck's in theaters right now. But let's say I would want to use visual aids. Like I would want to show you the movie poster. I would want to use music from the movie. And it's a gray area right now whether or not you're allowed to do that without permission, okay? Now some of these movies actually give permission to review shows and some don't. I can tell you right now, that YouTube has a problem with you using copyrighted imagery. And being that I am partnered with Machinima, if I were to put a video up like that, it might be an issue, a copyright infringement issue. I could easily just do a review and just talk about the movie, but there would be no visual aid. Just like with my Hateful Truth game reviews where, I'll be honest with you, I don't have time to do extensive video editing I used to because I'm playing so many games. I wouldn't have time to do video editing. So I could do just an off-the-cuff kind of review for movies without any visual aids. I could. Problem being with that, I don't go to the movies that much, if ever, anymore. Because, number one, the movies cost an insane amount of money. It's just stupid. Number two, I swear to God, I'm joking, every time I go to see a movie, there's some obnoxious asshole on his phone, there's someone making noise, laughing. It's annoying. It's not an environment where you can sit there and enjoy the movie a lot of the time. And to be honest, there aren't a lot of movies that I'm enticed to see these days. I actually have been I've gotten much more enjoyment out of just waiting a couple months. The movie's on demand within 2 months since it's in theaters a lot of the times these days. And I get it on demand and I watch it in HD with my surround sound system on my own couch, relaxing, and I enjoy the movie a lot more that way. Now, you can say, well, Phil, why don't you review the movies then? Well, the movies have been out for months already, so why would I review them? You know what I mean? So, if there ever is a change and I do start actively seeing movies again in the movie theater, then maybe I'll start reviewing them. But the thing is, I just haven't been going to the movies. Okay, next question. This one is from Shearer21, and he says, I have a couple of questions. First of all, do you think if you never had any problems with copyrights or trolls, and you had stayed on your original Dark Side Phil channel on YouTube, not the DSPGaming one that I use now, but my original one that got unfairly shut down by YouTube for false copyright claims in 2010, would your opinion of YouTube, the gaming community, and your attitude to gaming, etc. still be the same, or would have anything changed? I don't see how it would have changed anything, but what I would say is, and I'll be honest, that channel at the time that happened had massive momentum, okay? I was gaining an exponential number of subscribers every day. And when that happened and it got shut down for a month, it kind of stopped, and I had to start over with DSPGaming. Now, I retained the subscribers that I had. It wasn't like I lost anyone, but the growth that I had, the momentum I had with that channel, brick wall. And so if you were to ask me what would be different, I'd probably be even bigger on YouTube right now. I'd probably be in those top spots on YouTube along with those other people, you know, who get listed under the gaming channels all the time. And it's a shame that I'm not, but there's really nothing I can do about it. It got shut down, and it did stop my momentum a little bit. So that's really the only thing I think would have changed. I probably have double the subscribers I have and way more views. On another note, what are your thoughts on Minecraft? Oh boy, here we go. I know you've already addressed this, but with the amount of new subscribers that you have, and with Minecraft being such a large part of the online gaming community, I have an issue with that statement. But anyway, I think you should readdress this. Thanks and best of luck for 2012. Minecraft, yes, it's popular. Is it a massive part of the online gaming community? I kind of disagree there. I think that Minecraft has a very dedicated fan base, meaning people get hooked on it, just like they get hooked on World of Warcraft. You know, it's that style of game where it's a sandbox. You can do whatever you want, and you get hooked playing it for hundreds of hours, okay? And I think that the community who really likes the game are extremely dedicated to it, and they love it. At the flip side, I'm going to say there's a whole mainstream movement of gamers who have no idea what Minecraft is. So there's a dichotomy there, okay? What do I think about it? Again, it's a game that really, you will spend hundreds of hours on it and you're just fucking around, okay? It's not a game that has one set goal. Now, what I've heard, and this has been a development over the past several months, is that they've actually changed the game, and it actually does have like a final boss, even though the game doesn't end once you beat it. Once you beat the boss or whatever, like, so it did give some linearity to what you're doing in the game, because that was a major complaint about people who weren't playing it, were saying, why would I play it? It's like World of Warcraft. I could run around for hundreds of hours doing shit and it still never ends. There's no end goal. So I guess the end goal is to beat this boss, even though you can do that and still play for hundreds more hours. For me, that kind of game is a time waster. My style of video, doing a playthrough from start to finish of a game, it's a journey. It's a story that starts and ends. It's the same reason I'm not playing World of Warcraft, because, yeah, there are people who like that, but it's one kind of following that's not really what I'm into. I'm not into just sitting there and playing a game for hundreds and hundreds of hours and there's no definitive ending to the game. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see the point in... Now, does that mean I will never, ever, 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 in any instance, ever try Minecraft? No, but I have no interest in doing it at this time, okay? So much time I got left here. Still got some good time. Alright, Dear Phil, I love the company called Double Fine. If you don't know, they're a game developer, a very popular game developer. But they don't listen to their fans and make sequels. Do you think Double Fine should make sequels to games like Psychonauts 2 or Brutal Legend, or Psychonauts or Brutal Legend, or should they continue to make different games? That's from Master of Awesomeness. Now, this is an interesting question. It's completely the flip side of the situation that's going on with most major gaming studios these days, which is sequelitis. Instead of trying to take a risk with maybe a new interesting IP that people might like, a new game, a new series, they're all just going to what they know are tried and true moneymakers. Just take a look at 2011. You had Uncharted 3, you had Modern Warfare 3, you had just Batman Arkham City, Skyrim, which, you know, it's just in the same line of games that have already been out. Every major release was a freaking sequel. And the IPs, the few and far between original IPs that came out, like Shadows of the Damned, like Catherine, these are completely original games. A lot of them got overlooked. Shadows of the Damned was horrible in the sales numbers, even though it was one of the best games of the year, in my opinion. And it was well done. People just ignored it because they were like, oh, what's that? Oh, I'm saving my money for Modern Warfare, you know? That was the mentality. And that's a shame, because if you don't give new IPs a chance, you'll never find out if these new experiences are interesting, and you're actually going to stop these studios from creating new IPs, and you're stifling originality is what you're doing. However, that being said, you have to remember that right now, especially in the United States, it's a very bad economy. Not a lot of people have a lot of money, and so they're saving their money for what they feel is going to be a sure shot, or, you know, a tried and true good game. And so taking a chance on a new IP like Shadows of the Damned versus spending it on an IP that you know will be good, like Uncharted 3, I can understand why a lot of people do that. So it's a bad time. It's actually a very bad time for originality. Now, for Master of Awesome's question this, it's the different situation. Double Fine is a game developer that says, no, we pride ourselves on just making new games. We don't want to go into sequelitis and make 20 sequels of our games. And a lot of people say, well, that's fine, but you know, a lot of the games you guys make are really good, and we want to revisit those worlds and revisit those characters. And Double Fine basically says, no, we do what we want. So I applaud them for their originality. I applaud the fact that they're doing well just making new games and they're not going into sequelitis. Then again, maybe there does need to be a little bit more leeway. You know, with a developer like that, maybe you should once in a while say, okay, we did really well with this, let's strive to revise that story and make a game better. I personally would like to see sequels to some of the really good Double Fine games, but I'm also okay with them just continuing to make really great games. In my opinion, as long as they make great games, I don't care what they make. Put it that way. Alright, I should have time for one or two more questions here. Next question is, hey Phil, you recently talked a lot about branching out, so he's got two questions for me. First one is, if a game developer asked you to do a voiceover for their game, would you consider it? Absolutely. I would think that voiceover work is probably pretty interesting and probably rewarding, and that would be something that maybe I would like to get into in the future. Of course, I've never been contacted by anyone to do it. The only games where I really do voiceover work are things like Phoenix Wright series, where I'm trying to make voices for each character. So would I consider it? Yeah, I would. Then again, a lot of people say that my voice is annoying as fuck. That was like, when I first started on YouTube, my #1 complaint was, ugh, why is his voice so high-pitched? It's annoying. Like, not everyone has a nice deep voice like this, like Barry White. So now we're going to play Mass Effect 3 with the soothing sounds of Barry White. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not everyone has that, and you can't affect what your voice sounds like. But that would be something I would consider. That actually sounds interesting to me. Second question, would you ever consider playing or trying indie games? And this is, by the way, this question is from David Poorheads, who's a big fan of mine on my website, thekingofhate.com. He frequently posts and asks these questions. I did try indie games. If you remember, a couple of years ago, John and I had a day where we were just bored. There was really no co-op to do, and we jumped into indie games and fucked around with them for several hours. I mean, if there is an indie game that's really good, I would try it. The thing is, even the ones that are highly rated, I don't know. They just don't really appeal to me that much. It's not that I don't look to play them, but I don't know. Like, they obviously don't get marketing, so you don't really know about them that much, and it's hard. My major problem right now with indie games, especially on Xbox Live, there's way too fucking many of them. It's massive shovelware. It's laughable. The games that I played with John Rambo were awful, but they were funny to play. For me to invest real time in an indie game, I need to know that it's good. And it's really hard right now to get through all the shovel of the shit that's on there, the hundreds and hundreds of games that are getting put out that are just garbage. There really needs to be like a quality system for these games, and really right now there's nothing. That's the problem with indie games right now, in my opinion. Okay. I think I might have time for one more question. I do. Alright. So the last question. Phil, I'm a new fan, and when viewing some of your older videos to get to know more about your channel, I heard you say that you thought that the music and rhythm game genre is dead. And that is correct. I'm talking about Guitar Hero, Rock Band, those kind of games. They're dead. They die. Okay? Well, regardless of this, my question is, what did you think of these games before their death? Did you ever consider doing videos of these games, or did you just ignore that altogether? And that's from Game Shredder V1. I actually played those games. I played Guitar Hero 1 and 2. And I loved them. I loved them. I had Rock Band, the whole Rock Band set for Rock Band when it came out. I didn't have DJ Hero, but I knew some people who had DJ Hero. The Bomani games, the games in the arcades like Dance Dance Revolution, the games where you press the buttons like to do a DJ in the arcades, that kind of stuff. Guitar Freaks, which actually was the predecessor of Guitar Hero, and Guitar Hero was kind of a rip-off of Guitar Freaks, just that it used licensed music. But I played all of them, and I enjoyed them. But here's what happened. Everyone else played them and enjoyed them too. And then when games like Guitar Hero or whatever started coming out using real music from licensed bands, all these studios saw were dollar signs. They didn't think quality. They didn't even think proper quantity. They just saw money, 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 cash in. Okay? And they didn't properly plan out the lifespan of their products. They didn't properly plan out release schedules. They pretty much said, okay, these games have become popular. let's now create 42 guitars to sell. Let's create 400 different peripherals. Let's release 400 versions of these games even when no one's asked for them yet and they're not done with the last one. Let's release 5,000 downloadable DLC songs, you know, and just cash in. And what ended up happening was, within the course of, say, 3 to 4 years, you went from the games just being small and slowly becoming popular to being hugely popular with a spike. Then the market became so oversaturated with this stuff that no one wanted it anymore. Let's be honest. If you have a working guitar, how many fucking guitars are you going to buy? You're not going to buy more than one. You know what I mean? If you have one Rock Band set and that set works, why would you then go buy the special edition Rock Band Beatles set? The next version of the Rock Band set that came out with Rock Band 3, you know? And that was the other thing. Every new version of the game that came out, they tried to re-release all of their peripherals again, and people said, we don't need these. I already have a set of peripherals. So they jumped all this money into re-releasing peripherals with add-ons and shit that nobody wanted and completely pissed their money away. I wouldn't be surprised if there are warehouses in the United States, I'm not even joking, that are entirely full of Rock Band and Guitar Hero peripherals that nobody sold, and they don't know what the fuck to do with them because no one wants them. They're garbage. In addition to that, they just kept selling too many games. So you'd have Guitar Hero, Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 3, Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero, Aerosmith, Rock Band, fucking, I don't know, Maroon 5. You know what I mean? Like, it would be releases for just specific bands. You're like, I don't want to fucking buy it just for one band. And then finally, when one that comes out that you might actually want for a legendary band, like Rock Band Beatles or whatever it was, I don't know if I even remember if it was Rock Band or Guitar Hero, by the way, but whatever one it was with the Beatles, not a lot of people bought it because they were tired of the product. They said there's too much shit out there, it's too much, just like with indie games, too much shovelware, it was too much stuff that people were really looking for, and when you oversaturate a market like that, it gets watered down and people stop caring, and that's exactly what happened. These companies, instead of saying, alright, year 1 we'll release this game, year 2 we'll release this game with one new peripheral, year 3 we'll release a new game and then we'll do some interesting DLC, year 4, they never planned it out, they just keep throwing shit out, just keep fucking chucking games, chucking shit, peripherals and shit at people, and people will keep buying it, and that's not what happened. People finally drew the line and said, alright, it was a fad, but I'm not going to go buy your fucking same peripherals again. So, you blew it. And that's pretty much what happened. Those game developers, they blew it, and some of them have closed their doors or just gotten shut down by the parent companies, if you can believe it. That's right, this cash cow that these companies were using, some of these developers have closed their doors, which is kind of crazy, just because of bad business planning. So, perfect example of something that catches on is really popular, because of bad business planning, it kind of fizzles out and dies because of oversaturation. I enjoyed those games, I really liked them, and then I got bored of them just like everyone else, and that's why they died. Why did I never do footage of them on YouTube? Very simply put, copyrighted music. It's copyrighted content, and it's a harder battle to fight on YouTube to say, okay, I'm doing a let's play of this original game and with my commentary, okay, that's creative, that's a transformative work. To say, well, I'm recreating a copyrighted song note for note. That could be a little bit more iffy. So I never dabbled with that. I didn't want to take the risk. And incidentally, I don't think it's very interesting to see someone do this and hit every note. You can just listen to the fucking song if you want. Alright, so that's it for part 1 of Ask the King. Be sure to come back for part 2. I have way more questions to answer that I need to get to, so stay tuned and I'll be right back.